I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where everyone waves, every secret feels like gossip, and nothing really changes. My dad owned a repair shop on Main Street, and my mom worked part-time at the diner. We weren't rich, but we were fine. Steady, quiet, ordinary. Or at least that's what I thought. After my dad passed away last year, I came back home to help my mom sort through his things. The house felt frozen in time. Same clock ticking too loud, same smell of motor oil and coffee. I started cleaning the garage. That place had always been his kingdom. Tools lined up like soldiers, shelves stacked with jars of nails and bolts. But in the far corner, behind some old tires, I noticed a metal box. It was heavy, locked, and dusty. My dad was never the lock things up kind of man. I asked my mom about it. She paused just for a second, then said she didn't know what it was, but I could tell she was lying. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I tried to sleep, but the image of that locked box kept playing in my head. Around midnight, I went back to the garage. I used one of his screwdrivers to pry it open. Inside were envelopes, photographs, and an old cassette tape labeled only with a date. June 5th, 1997. That's the year before I was born. The photos were weird. Not family pictures, but old newspaper clippings about a missing teenage girl. Same town, same street my dad's shop was on. And the strangest part? One of the articles had my dad's picture in the background. Blurred, but definitely him, standing near a police car. I didn't know whether to wake my mom or pretend I hadn't seen it. I chose the second. But the next morning, she asked if I'd found anything unusual. I said no, and she just nodded, like she already knew I was lying. For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about that box. I told myself it was probably nothing. Maybe my dad was just helping the police back then. Maybe it wasn't even him in those photos. But the more I told myself that, the less I believed it. Mom started acting strange too. She'd walk into the garage and quickly walk back out. When I asked about the cassette tape, she said, "Some things are better left alone." That phrase stuck with me because my dad used to say the exact same thing whenever I asked about his childhood or anything before he met my mom. One afternoon, I drove into town and went to the library. The old archives were still there, dusty microfilm and yellowed newspapers. I found the story. Local teen missing. Search expands for 17-year-old Amy Dorr. The date matched the one on the cassette tape. She disappeared walking home from the summer fair. No witnesses, no leads. But in a photo of the search party, there was my dad again. You couldn't miss him. Same jacket, same baseball cap he always wore. I didn't know what to think anymore. That night, after Mom went to bed, I played the cassette. It crackled and hissed. Then I heard voices. My dad's voice. Younger. Shakier. Dad. On tape. If anyone ever hears this, it wasn't supposed to happen like that. She came to the shop that night. She was scared. I tried to help. Then silence, then a car door slamming, then the sound of waves. We don't live near the ocean, but there's an old quarry a few miles from town that used to flood every spring. The next morning, I asked Mom about Amy Dorr. She froze, and for a long time, she didn't answer. Then she said quietly, "Your father made a mistake a long time ago, and he spent the rest of his life trying to make it right." That made no sense. I pressed her for more, but she just shook her head. Then she whispered, "Promise me you'll stop digging." I wanted to promise, but that night I drove to the quarry. It was quiet, too quiet. The air felt heavy, like the whole town was holding its breath. Near the water's edge, I saw something that stopped me cold. A piece of metal sticking out of the dirt. A license plate half buried in the mud. The numbers looked familiar. When I got home, I checked one of the old photos from the box. The one with my dad's truck in the background. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that license plate. Half buried, rusted, and the same as my dad's old truck. The next morning, I went back to the quarry with a shovel. The mud was thick and cold, clinging to my boots. I dug near where the plate was sticking out, heart pounding with every scoop. After about 10 minutes, my shovel hit something hard. Metal, then glass. It was the truck, buried deep under layers of silt and weeds. I stumbled back, my hands shaking. What the hell was it doing there? My dad had told me years ago that he sold that truck when I was little. That was a lie. I called the sheriff's department anonymously, told them I found something strange. They said they'd send someone in the morning. That night, Mom came into my room. She looked like she hadn't slept either. She sat on the edge of my bed and said, "I know you went there." I didn't answer. Then she said something that made my stomach twist. "Your father wasn't the man you think he was, but he wasn't a monster either." I asked her what she meant. She stared at the floor and whispered, "That girl, Amy, she wasn't just some stranger. She was family." I froze. Turns out Amy was my dad's half-sister, someone he never told anyone about. She ran away from an abusive home, showed up at his shop one night looking for help. But something went wrong. There was an accident, a struggle maybe. Mom said my dad panicked, thought she was dead, and hid it. She swore he tried to confess later, but no one would have believed him after so long. So he buried the truck and the guilt with it. I didn't know what to believe anymore. When the sheriff came the next day, they taped off the quarry. I watched from the road as they pulled the truck from the water. There were bones inside. They asked me how I found it. I said I was cleaning my dad's garage and found an old photo. They thanked me and said they'd call if they needed anything else. Mom didn't speak to me for days after that. She just sat at the kitchen table, staring at nothing. When the results came back, the sheriff said the remains matched the missing girl. But he also said something else, something that still keeps me up at night. Greater than, "It's strange," he said. "The cause of death doesn't match an accident." There were signs she was alive for a while after the truck went under. I didn't tell my mom that part. That night, I went back into the garage. I sat there staring at the empty corner where the box used to be. Except, it wasn't empty. There was a new box sitting there, smaller, cleaner, with my name written on it. Inside was a single note in my mom's handwriting. "Greater than, some things are better left alone. Don't make the same mistake your father did." I still don't know what she meant. The police closed the case. The town moved on. But every time I drive past that quarry, I swear I see someone standing by the water's edge, wearing a faded jacket and a baseball cap. Sometimes I wonder if it's guilt playing tricks on me. Other times, I'm not so sure. If anyone ever hears this, it wasn't supposed to happen like that.